Previously on Route 29 Stalker.
And then a few minutes later, I saw them going really slow in front of my house in the northbound lane. And they did a loop and came back around, and then they pulled into my driveway.
And then I was looking at the license plates, and I noticed that the license plates were 30-day tags. So I knew that it was nothing that I could write down or anything like that. But I did get the feeling that something wasn't right with this person doing this.
I mean, this guy, was ballsy enough to pull into my driveway, but he chickened out to come knock on my door. He sat in my driveway for like a minute, and then I guess he couldn't, get the courage to knock on my door, and he pulled out. So I'm just wondering, what if he did knock on my door? What was he going to do?
Well, that's on this same road was where the mechanic that when you first turn on the road, there's a mechanic that lives right there, but he had that same type of truck for sale for the longest time.
Two decades, 10,189 leads, and Virginia State Police say they are still looking for the man who tried to stop 20 or more women on the highway.
In that region over the past 2 decades. Was found murdered in rural
It's been over 20 years since St. Cloud native Julie Williams and Lolly Winans of Unity, Maine were found murdered in the Virginia
park. Horrific crime, a particularly grisly crime.
They called the killer the Route 29 Stalker.
From O3 Films at Watts Creative Studios, this is the Route 29 Stalker, and I'm your host, Woody Graham Watts.
Brilliant and beautiful Johns Hopkins University grad student disappeared on Route 29 near Culpeper, Virginia. State police found her body 2 months later, but they've never found her killer.
Yeah, Leslie, they called the killer the Route 29 Stalker. 2 decades, 10,189 leads, and Virginia State Police say they are still looking for the man who tried to stop 20 or more women along the highway and ultimately kidnapped and murdered Alicia Showalter Reynolds.
On US 29 north for 1 mile.
That's some cute little things. $2 maybe I'll buy something here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're good people. Oh yeah.
I've got a question for you.
One of the consistent things we are finding out about these cases, and Culpeper itself, are the reactions we get when we bring up the name Route 29 Stalker. I often forget that it's been over 20 years since this happened, and people have tried to move past this dark time for the area. And I've started to live in this time bubble, where I see the scenarios happening over and over in my head. And I see a little black truck everywhere I go now, and I'm constantly scanning the crowd for someone that looks like the sketch. I guess that's a product of researching something every day for the last few months. It just sticks with you. And I'm not even from the area. And every time I ask someone about the Route 29 Stalker, they instantly know what I'm talking about, with no hesitation. But honestly, what's most surprising, or I should say disappointing, is the lack of men that are willing to talk about this. Men directly associated with the case, or even just in the area. With the exception of my local CSI friend and a few other experts in areas of the country that you'll hear in future episodes, the reaction I've gotten so far from men is troubling. And I hope I'm proven wrong and that changes soon. But for me, I guess I assumed from the start, if you had someone that wanted to help and get these cases out to a new audience, cases where women were targeted, stalked, and some even killed, then as a man, it would be a good time to stand up and at least take a phone call.
On March 3rd, 1996, police set up a roadblock where Alicia's white Mercury Tracer car was found, hoping to track down people who may have seen something. At least 3 people claimed they saw Alicia Showalter Reynolds talking to a clean-cut white male with a dark-colored pickup truck. Over 20 women called to say that they had recently been approached on the highway by a man fitting that exact description. Most of the witnesses talked about a man who had come up behind them or beside them in a dark, small pickup truck, flashing his headlights, honking his horn, looking in any way he could attract their attention. Most of the women that did have some concern for their vehicle did manage to pull off to the side of the road. He immediately jumps underneath the vehicle, conducts an examination, comes out, and then engages them in very polite conversation about the mechanical difficulties that he has allegedly uncovered. Police began to realize that whatever had happened to Alicia might have been a plot that had been evolving for weeks.
But one item that does keep coming up in every conversation is the little black truck with a teal design on the side. That description hasn't changed since 1996. And in the last episode, one of the sisters we talked with even mentioned one being for sale in the area at the time. So we've set out to find this truck, and with that comes many more trips to Culpeper and more phone calls. And we could use your help. Please visit Route29Stalker.com, Route29Stalker.com, and visit our discussion boards. Or even better, call the number we have on there with any information you have, and we may even use it on an upcoming podcast. The more people listening and helping, the better chance we have at finding this guy. Find the truck, find the stalker, right?
I don't think that was something that I even thought about at the time, but I do remember that there was a truck there, the same type of truck for sale for a long time. No, I'm not saying that it's the same truck, but same type of truck.
Yeah, that's interesting, because the one consistent thing throughout everybody's story I've heard is the truck. So clearly this guy had access to a dark, small pickup with a teal thing on the side. Like, that is in no question. Yeah.
Well, when we talked to Trudy, the state trooper, she told us that they checked this guy out that did have a truck in Orange County, the same type of truck. But they went through it, and checked it out, and it was too clean. It was just completely clean. There was nothing that they could get from it.
Still to this day, wherever I am, it doesn't matter if I ever see a black truck and it has that green, kind of like a lightning flash thing or stripe on the side, I get freaked out and I check the guy out. I can't help it. It's like a reflex. It still affects you because there's a family out there that has not had closure to this case, and that person is still out there, and you wonder, are they doing this somewhere else? Or if they're still around here, why aren't they still doing it? What stopped them? I still think about it, so that tells you something. You would think at some point he would slip up and his photo would be out there, or his DNA would show up, or something.
What was really interesting was on our most recent trip back to where Alicia's car was found, abandoned on the side of the road. We noticed a house that's about 50 yards away from that spot, right on Route 29. They were having a yard sale, and the owner was outside. So we decided to stop by and ask her a few questions.
Is it still, you know about it,
right?
You know, what is it still talked about? Does it still come up instead of random people stopping with a microphone? I mean, does it ever come up?
Just the only woman that stopped and put flowers. We was out here playing kickball, and she said it was meant for her. I said, well, it didn't get you, so it must not have. You know, and she praises the Lord about it all the time, but she said she really felt bad.
Yeah.
I told her it's not her fault. The lady comes by. She said that the stopper was meant for her, because she stopped there, but then she took on off. And then another person, the other lady, stopped there, and that's when he got her. And then there was another murder in a house down here, 2 houses down from me, a woman. They found her hung in her basement, shot and hung.
For more information about this podcast and what we've found regarding the Route 29 stalker, visit route29stalker.com, route29stalker.com. As we investigate this, we will be releasing all the information we gather on this website. We also have discussion boards. Thanks for listening. Meet us back here for the next episode.